Hello, Kurt. Hello in Tokyo.
What up?
Tokyo, you're out in the countryside now, aren't you? You're outside countryside.
I was in Tokyo last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so good news. Just yesterday, we got a air conditioner.
Oh yeah, it's funny. My brain saw that, and I was like, "Well, every apartment in Japan has an air conditioning, so there's no need to comment on it." But that is new, isn't it? Yeah, modern.
Yeah. So we bought an air conditioner from the Vietnamese store down the street.
Hell yeah.
And God bless Vietnamese stores. They got hustle, man. It's like a grocery store in the front, and the back there's all this like used like air conditioner and bikes and stuff. And because it's Japan, I feel like a lot of native Japanese people here will be kind of give it a wide berth at first because it's a new shop, and it's like scary because it's very foreign. But I'm just like, I'm about it. I'm like, oh man, yeah, I love the immigrant hustle. I got like a super...
We have a Turkish store just down the road from us, which I love because I can buy lokman there, which is like my favorite food. And they started a a furniture store, like just housing products. They had like a second floor. They then opened a housing store there, and then they closed it within like a month and a half.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it failed, but I wonder if they'd have done better if it was secondhand stuff.
They were doing new stuff, like that's tricky. You gotta do the used stuff because the reason why it works here, there's like a couple different Vietnamese secondhand stores, but it's like they talk to people within their community who often move back home or like they're in construction, and then they just kind of like buy stuff for cheap and they're able to resell it for like cheap but still make a profit, I assume. But yeah, we got this for a steal. It was like 575 Japanese dollars. I mean, it's 10 years old, but it's like a really good quality thing, and they did the installation and all this stuff, and it works great. Yeah, I'm very happy with it, and I would recommend them again. I can't see the store name to plug them because it's like Ffieidd-Dra. That's the thing they do need help with, like because they need more like katakana. And the guy too, he's Vietnamese. He doesn't speak English, and I don't speak Vietnamese, so we're like speaking in Japanese, but we're both second language speakers. So and we both have like thick accents in our own language. So, but it's fun, it's good. It's I support immigrant businesses because they're just trying to make their way too, and I can have delicious Vietnamese snacks. So that's what's going on in my world. My room is not as hot, and we're slowly putting it back together. And how you doing, Darren? How's the week going?
I'm doing good. This week it's been pretty intense. I've been working really, really hard. I don't think the book will be finished by September, but it's getting pretty damn close.
It's like Zeno's paradox. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So like we're half done and 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 half done, but we're there. We're getting there. We're there. I think.
Exactly. Let's try and get the stream on, I guess, and then we can see where we go, so that I can get back to work, really. Although we'll do some work on stream too, as that is what we always do. What am I going to show you? I guess I want to show you what I've been up to. Let me just get some artwork up quickly.
How many people design entire books on stream? Is this rarefied air?
I don't know it's hard to say if we're the first because I haven't checked every.
Yeah, I doubt we're the first.
But
or even only right now. But it's I'm sure there's. It's hard. It's harder for a lot of people. Obviously we write a lot off stream and so on. So.
Yeah. This is taking longer. Let's go screen share. Then let me tell people that we're live, I guess. God, I hate
that'd be. Did we not do that?
I have here you go, here's the insider stuff. I have a website, buffer.com, highly recommend it if you're doing social media stuff. And you can queue posts, and last Friday I queued posts for the stream today to go live at 10 past 2, but we weren't live at 10 past 2, so I had to cancel that and then have them go manually. So they will go manually now. People will know that we're here. At least on socials anyway. Cool, alright, good. I put that there so I wouldn't forget, and that worked. Well done me.
Well, good job, past Darren.
Yeah. So, what is it that we're up to? I guess we can say, like, the past few weeks we've been talking about legendary items on stream. I can't remember if I said this last week or not, but I think it was last week. I think I finished all of the rules designed for the legendary items, and now Kurt's taken over and writing the lore for them. And he's writing really cool stuff. I've been really happy.
Appreciate you thinking so.
Yeah, man, it is really cool. Yeah, it's just the concise little stories that should inspire adventures and quests. It's good.
And we talked about a lot of them on stream, but it's also different when you're like writing them and you're trying to give them the sort of like logical consistency of a story with 3 different things. So I guess that's the challenge with them. But they are fun. Like once they're done, they're satisfying.
Yeah, 100%. So this week I've been grinding out, and I've been writing the stat blocks and lore snippets and secrets for the entire Bestiary. And so we haven't really done the Bestiary on stream before. I need to... Oh yeah, so the Bestiary is split up into 5 sections, I think. Fey, Unshapen, Fiends, Weirds, and Ffieidd-Dra. Yeah, everything in this game is split up into 5 sections. So I'm not sure the ordering of everything yet. But at the moment I have the Fey at the beginning here. So each section introduces like what that creature type is, what they mean to the world, where they come from, what they are. And then there's 5 monsters in each creature type. So for the Fey, there are the 5 Fey from the 5 Fairy Courts. However, I couldn't stop myself. I couldn't leave it at 1 stat block for each Fey because it felt weird. Because we also have the Talwith Tag, and it feels weird. I couldn't decide whether to do the Talwith Tag but then not have the lowly level Fey, or do the lowly level Fey but then not have the Talwith Tag. So I did both. Right? I had to do both. It feels weird not doing both. But it was a little bit easier because I did the big version first, and the little version was just like a smaller version of it. So,
I mean, I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, good work. And are you doing the? I see that some of them have 5th edition. You're also doing the 5e sets?
Yeah, exactly. So once I'm gonna do all of the Legends of Avarnan versions of the creatures first, and then convert the ideas that I had into 5e and D20. So that will come second. Yeah. So that'll be one for everything. Cool. So yeah, so I did all the boot back, all the face stories, so goblins, the Alil, the Gwish, and Talwith take all of them, and the Morgan. And then we have the Weirds. These are the strange, like animal-like creatures that manifest in the other world, like the giant birds. They're fun because they do riddles. So, like, we have a mechanic for that. I already made a mechanic for that in Legends of Avarnan 5 years ago, where, like, if you have a parlay with creatures like this, and you lose the parlay, they gain bonuses against you in combat. So it's like a literal battle of wits, and if you lose the battle, then you're likely to lose the actual fight as well.
You lose the battle of wits, and then you just lose the battle of fists.
Yeah, exactly. Right here. It's annoying. I wish I should have put, well, for stream's sake, I should have put the artwork in here as well, so you can see the art for everything as I scroll by. But that's what the final book would be like instead.
Yeah.
Then we have the Fiends. These are kind of like the humanoid creatures that are super malevolent, like the Balvan She, which is like the vampire. Thiath, which are those underwater creatures. Which reminds me, I was wondering if there's things I wanted to ask you about, but I couldn't recall. Waterborn, we'll see. The Spriggan, the Trow, Werebeasts. Then we have the Unshapen. These are like spirits that haven't manifested into bodies yet. We have the Beratuk, which is like haunted animals. We have the Kihiraif, these are like traditional ghosts. Then we have the Dial Garur, these are like revenants, these are like vengeful warrior spirits that follow people and try to kill them if they break oaths. Then we have the Elvenol, this is interesting, these are like our elemental spirits, the spirits that are kind of embodied with an element. And so I did like one stat block that has 4 stat blocks in it. So it's because it just saves space if you just do one, but then multiples. Then it's I don't know. I think this is interesting design stuff where basically I codified a term, elemental attribute, and then said that each element's elemental attribute is the highest attribute, and then I have stats that trigger off for it. So for example, it's armor, it's 5 plus vigor plus its elemental attribute. So for the air element, its highest attribute is 2 for its wit, so that would be its elemental attribute, which means it'll be 5 plus vigor plus 2, which would be 5 plus 0 plus 2, which is 7. And then that means that I could have the air, fire, water, earth elementals be different tiers, because there's lots to talk about here, really, actually, when I think about it. So in Legends of Avarlan, so we've already done a Bestiary, right? I did one in Legends of Avarlan, so let me get that up so I can show people that. And it's very different to most Bestiaries you'll ever see in role-playing games.
Because you teach the men how to fish.
Exactly, Kurt knows. Okay, I'm having an issue at the moment where I can't open these because my computer keeps crashing, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, fine. So yeah, in the Bestiary for Legends of Avarlan, we didn't do stat blocks. Instead, we taught you how to make the creatures. We had like abilities for different creatures, and then you would pick and choose what you wanted, and then you could create a booback for any tier of difficulty that you wanted, because you knew what kind of stats it would have if it was a higher difficulty or a lower difficulty, and how many abilities it would have if it was a lower difficulty or a higher difficulty. So then you can make your own booback, or you can make your own elven, or you can make your own dragon. But obviously I realised that some people just wanted to have a dragon given to them. And so now this Bestiary is me doing that, where we have to determine, okay, but I don't like it. I know this is how most games do things, but it feels weird to me to make a booback and make it a certain difficulty tier, and then that's what it is. And then, what if you wanted to have a stronger booback? Well, I guess you rely on the game master to customize it for themselves, right? They can do that, and that's what you have to do.
And then having your rule set assist with that is still valid.
Yeah, exactly. So, but what I've been finding myself doing is then deciding, okay, well, I've got 5 different Fae. The Fae are supposed to be kind of equal in power level in the world, but if I make them all the same, then there's not much variety in what can be chosen from the book, right? So I ended up making some of them like apprentice, the lower tier, and some of them adventurer tier, just to have some variety amongst them. And then just choosing what creature goes in which tier has just been strange for me. It's like, I don't know, is a Balvin She, should that be more powerful than a Bythir? Well, I guess it depends on the Balvin She, but I've made it less powerful in this version. And I guess that's
that's interesting. Because I'm old school, or I came in 2nd edition. That was my default mode. That's what I understand, the psychology of the player that wants to give it to them. Because there's like this completionist aspect to it.
Okay.
Right? Like you want to know what the official thing is. Right. Same reason why, you could play Forgotten Realms or whatever. Good morning, Zilphia. No worries, don't worry. We're glad to have you here. Perfect attendance. Continuing. We're talking about bestiaries, and like my favorite book growing up was the Monstrous Manual. Like, right. Did you when you first started? Did you have like a Monstrous Manual or compendium or anything like that?
I pretty much. I think I would look up monsters sometimes, but I'd usually make my own, or I would make my own based on other monsters.
Yeah. So the monster, but you're familiar with the Monstrous Manual. You had one like.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, and that was just a cherished volume in my childhood, because yes, obviously there's gonna be possibly different kinds of goblins, but there's satisfaction in knowing a goblin is this many experience points and this many hit dice, right. And it's like this and it's like this, and then that just creates a culture that when people talk about it. So it's interesting because like what you're trying to do, or what you do with Legends of Avalon First Edition, is giving part of the creative power to the game master and letting and which is good, right? Because the whole thing with the bestiaries do like when you decide the stats is it encourages, when a game gets big enough, it encourages like rules lawyering, right? Like so and so monster should have this much, and then they can like kind of metagame more. So but then people like metagames, right? So that also helps your game in a way, because the players love metagaming, so it's hard to say. Anyway, I think both are good, and I understand both of them, and I find satisfaction in what you're writing. So thank you for writing it.
That's cool. I this is gonna out myself. Actually, it's funny. I was slightly ashamed about it. So I didn't even write it in the Discord, but maybe I should have. But this is like an open exposure as a game designer. Like I wrote a Legends of Avalon. Well, 5 years ago, or longer than 5 years ago, really. And the other day, I had a question on the Discord, and in fact, I'm going to read it. Let me go get it.
Ooh. Look, this is what you come to the stream for, guys. Zilphia, this is the bare bones honesty of a game designer.
Yeah, bearing myself to the world. Yeah.
Finding himself.
Yeah. So this is a great guy in our Discord who asks lots of interesting questions. And recently he asked me this question. I think this is like the first. I don't know. I think this is the first time I got this kind of question, but you'll see what I mean in a second. Okay. Quote. It says in the book that creature trophies and monster trophies are the hide, claws, and organs of an animal or monster killed. Okay, so in Legends of Valhalla, when you kill creatures, you get trophies from them, and you can use those trophies to craft things. It's our crafting system, right? I say it's our crafting system. Most games don't have a crafting system, but we do have a crafting system, and I think it's really cool because you can make stuff from creatures that you kill, and what you make entirely depends on the powers that they have to begin with, right? So if you have a creature that can turn invisible, if you manage to fight that fiend and destroy it, then you can make a cloak that will turn you invisible. And that's just part of the game, and that's just how it works, right? So it says in the book that the creature trophies and monster trophies are the hide, claws, and organs of animal or monsters killed. Okay, that is a direct quote. That is what I wrote in the game rules: hide, claws, and organs, for example. And then he said, by that wording, presumably the carcass and its meat is left behind. Can anything be done with that by anyone? And if not, can a scavenger use their salvage ability to, quote, break the carcass and create supply from it? So we have a scavenger profession that's supposed to emulate people that live off of anything, right? And that profession can break items and objects to create supply, which is an important resource in our game, right? Yeah. So it says, if not, can the scavenger use their salvage ability to break the carcass and create supply from it? Or is the creature monster trophy also assumed to be whatever the meat is on, right? And so this is like, these are the kind of questions that I designed the game to never answer, in a way. Right? My intent with the game that I designed was always that the GM should be in charge of what makes sense in the world. And if it makes sense, you just do it, right? And so I had a few thoughts in my head when that question came in. Actually, I'll tell you respond to the question first, because I've already been talking for a bunch. But
sure. So
do you know what I mean when I said that kind of question I haven't really had before? Like, is it the particular, like the rules, lawyery? Yeah. So like the way the trophies and supply systems are meant to be made is the abstractions are meant to speed gameplay along, right? Yes. Yeah. Because you have like basically abstraction and detail in any game system is a spectrum. And if you go too far in any direction, if you go too far in like no rule set and you're just using imagination, you don't really have a game. You just have theater of mind and making stuff up. Yeah. But then you don't have rules. But if you go too far, but then when you add a bunch of rules, then that's where you get things like you have battle systems where every body part and appendage is on a table, and then you rate how much damage, right? So the goal of the game designer, I think, is to find that happy medium that's satisfying to play. So in terms of how the supply works, my understanding is you're trying to abstract out supply, but it's not perfect because things like this come up where like, well, yes, you can think about if you use a little wording, you're gonna have stuff left over. What can you do with the stuff? Well, obviously you can like eat meat, right, from like a monster. Yeah. So could that then be used for supply? I guess if I were the game master and my player was trying to do that, I might say something like, yes, you can use it for supply, but you have to prepare it. Either it spoils quickly within like a time frame, and it could only be used for, for certain kind, like for rest and like eating and so on, or you have to like take preparation, salt or whatever in order to do it. So adding these extra rules on the spot to make it work is probably what my gut would be. But yeah, Sylvia says that as a GM, they would 100% let the scavenger do this thing with the meat and carcass. Meat as supply just makes sense, good foods, etc. Yeah, and that's basically how I feel about it as well. And to be clear, if the person, I know the person watches the stream sometimes, watches the videos, and I don't think they didn't ask a bad question, right? It's a good question. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is a good question.
So my thought process was, yeah, that's a really good point. it makes sense for the meat to be there, and meat should be supply. So yes, was my initial instinct, right? And then I thought, oh, actually, I kind of know this as well, because I know that for sometimes... Oh, wait, one more clarification. There's a difference between creature trophies and monster trophies, okay? Monsters are beings from the other world. Creatures are naturally born animals, right? I've said... Yeah, we'll see in a second. So in the world, I probably wouldn't let someone eat a monster. I would say that the being from the other world is something else. It likely would harm you in some way if you try to eat whatever it's made of. And that then also avoids you people from eating Ffieidd, which we don't want, I think. Yeah, but then creatures is a different thing, and yeah, you need those. So my instinct was yes, give them supply, and then I thought of, actually, I know that in some of the adventures that I've written, there are wolves in it, and if you kill the wolf, they give you supply and a trophy. And so that was, I think, me tacitly acknowledging that, creatures are made of meat and you can eat them.
Creatures are made of meat,
yeah. Well, so I was like, okay, yeah, so I guess I didn't. And then I thought, well, did I make that a rule? Then did I just say, it easily could be a rule, right? It could be killing a creature gives you a supply and a trophy. So I looked through the rules, and I actually did the opposite. And then I realized that I'd forgotten this, and I kind of I have backtracked my own rule in the game unintentionally, which is a clue that the rule probably should change, likely. So the rule, I actually have written a rule for this, and it's even on the scavenger kit, but I just forget what the scavenger does sometimes, I guess. And so the rule was, or is, where is it? Animal trophies. Regular creatures born of the natural world give animal trophies. Animal trophies can be used by the scavenger profession to make cloaks and supply. So I had it baked, and the scavenger profession as well, their salvage ability says that they can create supply from items or from animal trophies. So it was my intent originally when I wrote the game that, yes, you can get supply from animals, but only the scavenger can do it. And you have to give up the trophy to make that happen. Now, in hindsight, I've realised that I stopped obeying that rule because, one, I've been giving wolves supply for killing them anyway. Although not bears, apparently. I didn't give bears supply. I don't know why I didn't do that. It's probably because I wasn't thinking about it. It's an inconsistency. And so I think my original intent was that creatures that you don't traditionally hunt, the kind of creatures you would usually get into a fight with, like wolves and bears, they're not really like edible creatures, right? They're very lean. And then you have a choice to make between getting something that's worth selling or getting supply from them with the scavenger. But I clearly forgot that rule and started changing it myself. And also it just kind of makes sense that you can get some kind of meat from a creature you kill. So if we ever do a second edition, I'm likely to make creatures or animals more valuable in that they give you supply and a trophy. And that's because of this person's question in the Discord. So the end result is that, yes, I forgot that I did already implement this as a rule, and the fact that I forgot it made me think that maybe I should change it in the future. But also, the overriding rule is, again, I want to empower game masters to make their decisions. If you think it makes sense for the animal to give supply, then you can do that in your game, and it's fine. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a fair answer, and like you said, there's clues to interpretation. You can be more explicit with it. And I think that's also good, but it's just funny too because it's like one of those kind of like, if you apply a bit of sense, you can come up with your own answer pretty easily. So, but then the issue becomes if someone tries to like game master, okay, well this is supply, because supply is like an abstraction, right? And there's like certain ability for scavenger, it makes sense. But can you give that supply of bear meat to someone else and they use it for supply? Like once you... Yeah. That's like some video game shit, right? Where you convert something to a supply and you give the supply to someone else as a resource, and also then they're using it to fucking make potions or, or whatever. So,
but it is just, it's this weird thing where it's like, okay, yeah, you're right. The meat probably wouldn't do that, but I do feel like most parts of a bear could have applications for most of the professions as a supply, right? Like there's bone, there's fur, there's chemicals inside it. Some might say that's what humans did quite a bit in our history. Was it used wool to buffalo? Yeah.
Until the colonizers came over and just killed them for fun.
Yeah.
At the spite, anyway.
So end story is that in the end, I made a different Elvenor for each tier of gameplay. So the Earth Elemental is way more tougher than the Air Elemental, and that's just the way I did that.
Yeah. Now, what's funny is the Elfenals are also in Against the Fairy Queen, right?
Yes. Yeah.
They are in the
Cawr games.
From the lake section, yes.
So I actually used the stat block from there, but then I ended up changing. I used a bunch of stat. If there was a stat block Against the Fairy Queen, I used that as a basis, but some of them have been changed. Yeah, so they're not exactly.
Okay, that's something we'll mention in the book. Like, oh, by the way, this was written after Against the Fairy Queen, so please feel free to reference these if you can kind of use either or kind of thing.
I didn't think of doing that. No. I mean, the ones we gave Against the Fairy Queen are written for it. Yeah, so no.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. I guess so. Yeah, that's fair.
So one thing I did want to talk to you about today was that I've been doing the Ffieidd-Dra last, right? And these are our big bad boys and girls in the world. And doing a Ffieidd-Dra stat block is an interesting exercise. Because, so for example, Against the Fairy Queen, you actually fight and defeat a Ffieidd-Dra, and that should be quite a difficult thing to do. But in Against the Fairy Queen, I make pains to state that that's a young Ysgithyrwyn giant boar, and that's what makes it possible. And so then I had a kind of decision to make for this Bestiary. Do I make baby Ffieidd-Dra that can be taken out by adventurers of a mid-level tier, or do I make maturer creatures that you have to be some kind of hero or have some other help to destroy? Or do I do the apocalyptic versions that require a god to kill them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, my
instinct where I went was that, like, if I keep talking these things up as like these are the biggest, baddest creatures in our world, then I should do the version that is kind of the middle ground, where you have to be a super high level to be able to fight against this thing, but it's not the highest apocalyptic tier where you don't even need a stat block, right? And so the way I think I've read it out here somewhere. I said, a newly spawned Ffieidd-Dra is an apex predator, more than capable of destroying a whole village or scattering a warband. Ancient ones, if ever loosed into the wilds, would bring devastation on a scale to rival plagues and falling stars. True harbingers of one's end. The Ffieidd-Dra described here are middling, mature abominations. I didn't know how to express that. Like, I didn't want to say middle of the road, you know? Like, how do you say in between but make it sound cool? I don't know. So I said middling, mature abominations. But...
I guess you need a cooler word for average.
Yeah, exactly.
Are the midpoint...
Yeah, exactly. So I don't like middling. It's the best I can come up with, but you can noodle on that. Keep that in the back of your head.
Sure.
Yeah. So I said, but yet terrible enough that even hardened adventures must waste survival by victory. And then here's the key point: in ordinary circumstances, one does not slay a Ffieidd-Dra. At best, it can be driven back into the shadows in crawled form or endured until it withdraws. To truly destroy one demands an ordeal. Quests of preparation, rare weapons or blessings, and often the aid of the Tylwyth Teg, who alone know the secret methods that can bring such monsters low. Thus, most tales of the Ffieidd-Dra are not about glorious conquest, but grim survival, desperate hunts, and bargains struck in the Twilight Between Worlds. I don't like that Twilight Between Worlds. Struck with... I don't know, I'll come up with this later.
Wait, no, struck. Are you trying to play that with, like, ethereal or otherworldly, like, allies or something?
Yes,
or
yeah, exactly.
Are you
yeah.
With so you can say with ethereal allies?
Yes, that's fine. That's great. Thank you. So I ended up going with really powerful creatures, and so these are the highest tier creatures we've ever made. They are legendary tier, and to fight them fairly, you would need a party of like level 15 characters in Avalon, which is like level 18 to 20 in 5th edition, right? And there's going to be 5 of these, which is so many. But I realized that also there are not going to be many campaigns that get to that level, right? So I wanted to include a kind of like video gamey weakness. I guess it's kind of not video gamey, it's actually more traditional legend, like some kind of weakness that the creature has that can help you defeat it somehow. And actually, I guess
gambling addiction.
Gambling addictions.
This one's very self-conscious. I got you.
Yeah.
So, okay, so classic monsters.
Yeah.
So we're doing the
Achilles heels. Yeah.
Achilles heel. Yeah. But for villains.
Yes.
There's a monster. There's a monster villain for Achilles heels. I'm sure. There's the Smog's breast, was it? The missing scale.
How was that?
from The Hobbit, where Smog has like the small exposed thing in his belly that's exposed.
So what I thought we could talk about is come up with ideas for the weaknesses, and I've already done one, although I've just decided now that I didn't do it enough. So I think you'll be happy with what I did for the Afanc in the end. So for the Afanc, we have a lot of creatures that are adapted to certain environments, and a lot of them have this pounce ability, and the ability to dive. So for example, the Bugane are these creatures with giant size, and they can dig underground, right? And so they can dig underground where you can't get access to them, and they can pounce from there and drag people up and down into the ground and suffocate them, that kind of thing. And so the Afanc obviously moved through water, but that wasn't anywhere near as exciting because we've got loads of creatures that move through the water. And I know that in the lore we've been tying the Afanc to the Unmaking, right? So I had this idea, what if we've always said that the Afanc can disappear because it can become invisible, right? But then I had this idea, what if sometimes it can actually literally disappear? Like it just disappears out of existence. And the idea is that it can like access the Unmaking from wherever it is in the world at any time and just vanish back there. And people don't know that because they just think it's gone invisible like usual, but it actually disappears.
So it's like blinking or phasing.
Yeah, exactly. So then I had this idea, okay, so if it can do that, and then I had this horrifying thought, what if it's grappling someone when it does that? And the answer is, I wrote down that person is annihilated. Like, they just cease to exist instantly.
That seems OP.
Yes, however, there's a but. So I wrote here, so there's a few howevers, okay? While underwater, this creature can use an action to dive into the Unmaking, disappearing from wherever it was and annihilating anyone in its grasp. However, the Afanc avoids killing foes in this way as their memories are lost in the process.
I see. So it wants to keep
That's cool, right?
But, okay, so I just want to make sure...
Yeah.
The Afanc... Like, okay, so because we have this story that the Afanc killed somebody because it eliminated the memory of everyone else knowing him, so only the Afanc knew the secret.
Yeah.
Is that consistent with this?
Yeah. It's not. It still has the memory inside it. Like I've also now written down and made it canon as well that in the legendary lore here, when an Afanc is slain, all the secrets it devoured erupt in a blinding flood of visions, searing themselves into the mind of the one who struck the final blow.
Sure.
So killing an Afanc just gives you loads of knowledge.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. Okay, so that means that the Afanc always wants to try to be the last one that knows a thing.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, Kurt, you've gone muted. I can't hear you. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, no, I can't hear you now. Try leaving the call and joining the call again. Wait, can you not hear me either? You can hear me. Yeah, okay. Try leaving the call and rejoining. Anyway, so talking in the chat. So I've been having kind of fun making these creatures because I just get to give them loads of abilities and don't have to worry about balance too much. But trying to give them a weakness has been interesting. Say something? No, I can't hear you, man. What the hell? How strange.
How about now?
Yes, I can hear you now. What did you do?
Oh, weird. I unplugged my headphones, so my headphones weren't selected.
Ah.
But yeah, anyway, it was just interfering, I guess.
Yeah.
Weird. All right. Well, yeah, that's fine. I was mute on my end in a weird way.
So anyway, the weakness I give him for the Afanc is that it can only use that power when it's underwater. So if you draw it onto land, then it can't vanish. It becomes kind of trapped. But I just realized that maybe it should also be like I should lower its stats or make it more vulnerable when it's on land as well. And that also ties in with the Ever Elder story, right? Because she draws it onto land to defeat it as well.
I just want to make sure. So how are you describing these weaknesses? Are you basically saying weakness in bold and then dot.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like I think if you're gonna make it a weakness, it needs to be like explicit somehow, like with a demarcation.
Yeah. So obviously the weakness is baked into the stat block, so it's written there, but it's not titled weakness. But then what I've been doing is I've been writing it specifically in the rare lore section, which gives you basically tips on how to defeat the creature. But you're right. Maybe I should just write weakness. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll just write the word weakness for all of them.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to be obvious here.
Yeah, you're right. I do have a bad habit of that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Were you talking to QWERTY earlier?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, what's up, QWERTY? Bit late, but working on the Ffieidd-Dra. That is correct. We are working on the Ffieidd-Dra.
So, quite a quick update. I've basically gone through and done all of the Legends of Ireland stat blocks for the entire Bestiary, except the Ffieidd-Dra. And we're talking about how much fun and interesting it is to rate stat blocks for Ffieidd-Dra because they're like apocalyptic abominations. But I'm also trying to build in weaknesses to them so that lower level characters can still have some kind of chance against them if they know what they're doing and they have help from allies. Yeah. So you're right, weakness. I've done this kind of weakness thing with a bunch of creatures as well. Like, here's a fun one. So I kind of updated. So it's frustrating because I'm now being extra creative, but like the Slewer existing against the Fairy Queen.
Yeah.
But now I've made the Slewer way cooler, I think. So Slewer are zombies, right? But they're not actually zombies. What they are is they're spirits that wish to be coated in flesh again. And so they find corpses and exist inside them and reanimate them. So that's always kind of been the lore, although I haven't really made it so explicit like that where they want to be covered in flesh, but I think that makes sense.
Yeah, cool. So they're like serial killers, tight.
Yeah. Yeah. But then I said, well then, if the spirits that go inside bodies, well, if you destroy the body, sure they can just go inside another one, right? And so I was like, actually, yeah, that makes sense. So I have this new ability for them, Reanimate, where if you fight Slewer in like a graveyard or like where there's lots of corpses around, if you destroy one, it will just reanimate another body and start fighting you again, right? Mm-hmm. So then you either have to run out of bodies or you have to take it away from where the bodies are, so then it can't escape basically. And so that adds like a little puzzle element to the fight. And it also adds like, you can make it in the world lore as well. I like this kind of thing where for other people that lose or fight Slewer and then run away, they must think that it's like a never-ending army of zombies. But it's not that. It's like the same four spirits, just constantly reanimating creatures as you kill stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So I guess what? Oh, now I'm curious. Wait, I'm looking for where we are in the. How do you spell Slur again?
Sluagh.
AGH. That's right. Slur. Man, that's such a weird spelling for Slur.
Yeah.
Although now when I look at it, it makes sense.
So my point is, I made that like rare lore so players can discover it, and I called it Reanimate. But now I realized I should call it Weakness, like you said.
Or you can call it Reanimate parentheses Weakness. So that way you don't lose the flavor of what you're trying to say, but you can also give it the
maybe
right. Like you could do it like this, like Reanimate. I'm typing right now, and then you give reminder text.
Yeah.
For the game master, so because like if you just do one, like Reanimate sounds like a power.
Yeah.
And so it might not be obvious to the game master that this is supposed to be their weakness on first sight.
Yeah.
So, this is a way to do it. I don't know if you'd be happy with this because it's less elegant, but it's more explicit.
Yeah, it won't look as good. It takes up more space, and it'll be in bold as well, which feels weird. But it does serve a purpose.
Yeah, it's your call. I mean, this is a suggestion.
Yeah, so
I kinda like
it's
this.
like, so for example, but maybe this is true, though, this is why we do it. Like, so for example, for the Dialgarur, which is further up, DIA, I haven't given it a weakness per se. Instead, I wrote something called Code of Conduct to let you know. Like the Dialgarur, these are the Vengeant Revenants. I wrote, the Dialgarur are very particular in their target and will only strike down others who get in the way. Simply stepping out of the Dialgar's path is often enough to avoid their rage. So this is like knowledge that you can use to survive or interact with the Dialgar, but it won't let you defeat them. But they don't. They also have. They don't really have a particular weakness. You know what I mean? But that's just a peculiarity about them that you could learn and then use.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, so in that case, by not indicating that it's a weakness per se, I don't know. I kind of like using that where you need to use it.
Right. Yeah.
If you mean for something to be a weakness, because otherwise you're gonna have a bunch of guys that have just weakness, and then it loses the flavor of what the original intent was of the ability. And then on the other hand, by not putting weakness, you would just have it would just not be as obvious. Like everything would just look like an ability.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's my recommendation. That's my contribution to the design.
Cool. Well, we need more contributions. So for the Afanc, I've made it so that it can't disappear if it's on land. But I've also just decided now that's not enough. It probably should be weaker when it's on land as well. So I'm going to just write a note here to copy later. Make it weaker on land. Possibly, I don't know. Actually, the Afanc is pretty weak anyway, which is funny to say. It's not a particularly strong opponent for its level.
Sure.
But what it can do is, like I said, just disappear at will, which makes it hard to fight.
So what would you call this ability?
Originally, I called it Beach, just like a play, like as a.
Oh, Beach. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, okay, good. Beach. Cool. So next, I've been working on the Cawr, and the Cawr has been interesting to do. So, like, I was thinking about them a lot, and the one sticking point about the Cawr is that how strong and tough they are. Right. That's just that's the only characteristic I really think of them, as well as they're dim-witted. Right. So actually, I guess I can ask without looking and whatever. What kind of characteristics and abilities would you give the Cawr?
Good question. Other than, I mean, the obvious things are strength and reach, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's fine.
And then rudimentary tool use.
Okay.
Like they can because they're big. Something that's like a tree or seems innocuous often becomes a club or a stone or a projectile in their hand.
Oh, that's a good idea. See, I like that. That's great. So that's a really simple thing, right? So basically what I would say there is like, it would be, what do you call it? Ingenuity? What's the word?
Tool.
Yeah.
Tool use.
Yeah. Well,
like
what I'm going to say is basically that if that's just a really powerful ability. Like if it ever disarms or breaks its weapon or shield, it will pick up another massive object to take its place. Another massive object in the environment. So I like that idea a lot. Because one, that has a gameplay implication where, in our game anyway, breaking stuff is really powerful, right? So if it breaks a giant club and someone to secure a hit, well, it doesn't matter, it'll just pick up a tree. Right? And start hitting you with that instead.
I mean, I guess he could use also just the broken pieces of his club, and that could also work. But
no, that would, I mean, rules-wise, that wouldn't work because it's broken.
Sure. Well, what I mean is also they just become throwing objects. But you're right. Yeah. So it becomes a powerful thing, and they can make jokes about how stone circles, they're not like holy things. They're just piles of projectiles.
Projectiles, yeah. But it speaks to the creature as well. Like I like the idea now we have this word improvisation in the Cawr, because like even though they're dim, it still speaks to some kind of intelligence, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, wait, Quaity said something in the chat. Can you read what Quaity said?
They say that off the top of their head, says like the ever elder use secrets to defeat the Pen of Ankh, but out of all of them, that's the one you can't wrap your head around the most. We have in the book we tell the story of how What's the Ever Elder's real name?
Panarthen.
Phenomenon, yeah. Yeah, I wrote a bunch, but I don't. How much? Do you recall how much we kept in? Of,
Pretty
like,
much all
the
of it, the
details?
gist of it. Like, so yeah, Quality. So we wrote the story of how Panarthen. Quality. Sorry, you have to remind me. Are you Thunderbolt in the Discord? If you're not, no worries. If you are, we actually talked about a question you asked me the other day for about 10 minutes earlier on the stream. So you might want to catch
Can
that
we
on
tag
YouTube.
people? How do we do that? I always forget. Like, there's a way to like start tag people, or give them like titles and stuff.
Oh, you're Foxglove. Okay, fair enough. Don't worry about it. Is it hidden away in one of the lore stories? I'm not No. It's in this book, the book that isn't released yet, the book that you haven't had a chance to read. It's all new lore that we've written for the World Guide.
Oh yeah. That's a new thing. So we wrote that, so you'll be able to read about it in the book.
Yeah, we wrote a story for how each of the Ever-Ones became a god by defeating the Ffieidd-Dra.
Yeah. We figured that'd be things that people would want to know more about, and also we want to know more about.
Yeah, and so an important part of that as well is that I need to embrace those methods in writing these Ffieidd-Dra stat blocks, right? So, like, for example, the Ever child drowns his Ffieidd-Dra, right? So, spoiler, he drowns him. So I have to include that in here. I have to say that he can't breathe underwater, right? I think I did include that already, but I have to make sure that I do. Anyway, back to the colour. I like this ability. Thank you. Strong, everything. Good. I've done that. So then weakness-wise, obviously I've said that he can drown, which means you can trick him into going into a lake or whatever. But then I need to find another way, and the only thing I could think of was that I should make him basically unkillable. Like, I should make him so tough that he basically takes no damage from weapons or spells. And then my idea was that if you get the Cawr to hit itself, because that's like their favourite thing to do with dim creatures, right? Is if you get it to smack itself, then he becomes dazed and vulnerable for like a round. Is that too video gamey? I don't know. What do you think of that?
It's kind of Tom and Jerry-y.
Yes.
Where or Shadows like the intent is like Shadows of Colossus, right? Where they like smack themselves in the face with their own club.
Yeah. But I'm okay with it being Tom and
like,
Jerry because that's the nature of the Cawr and
Boobac. The thing is how you can consistently does it lead to a satisfying play pattern?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? Like, what does it mean for it to smack? Like, when you think about a monster smacking themselves, when you're talking about a video game monster, you can create these, like, algorithmic ways of playing where it's like, okay, well, I do this 3 times and jump on the monster's back and he hits them, and that's satisfying. But that's less satisfying in, like, in a theater mind style, like, role-playing game where, like, because if I think about it critically, the only thing that would matter is if he just hits himself in the head, right? So that means you're always trying to get contrive.
No. I mean, I would make a counterpoint. Let's see what Quake says first. I like that. Very Shadow Colossus, which is so cool. The Cawr does give Colossus vibes. Cool. Yeah. So my counter argument is that actually I think it leads to exceptional gameplay.
Okay. So there you go. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, if I think to myself that, he hits his own foot or whatever, you create these situations, then like, you have to be creative. So as long as you think it leads to fun gameplay.
Yeah. So what I'm imagining is how, because you're right. I mean, you did the exact right question in line, which is why I did. And so where my thought came to was that, okay, how would this actually work out in play? The answer is you need to get someone to grapple onto the Cawr and get its attention, right? To get it to do that. Go on. Sorry.
Sorry, you need a Shingeki no Kyojin then?
Yes.
Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
the grappling and stuff.
Yeah, so you need to get onto the Cawr and you need to do that safely. So part of that will be working as a team to distract the beast so that someone else can climb it and get in a spot and then make itself unknown, right? Then it's the Cawr's turn in the fight, round initiative order, whatever. And so on its turn, it will smack itself, and then the person has to get out of the way. Right, they have to dodge or avoid it, and so then the Cawr hits itself down. And then once it does, now you have a burn phase. Now that's a video game term, but now you have one round where the creature is vulnerable, and you have to make it count. Right, so then you have to work together to either inflict as much damage upon it as possible, or get one person to inflict as much damage upon it as possible. And so it creates this ebb and flow in the fight where you're setting things up, and then you have a burn phase, setting things up, and then you have a burn phase. And I think that's probably interesting because you're doing different things.
As long as. have thoughts on the burn phase, but I want to get to QWERTY's comments, like that they like it very much. Like Shadow of the Colossus is cool. Cawr do give Colossus vibes, which is fair, because they are Colossi. And since they're like the most human of the Cawr, is it possible to make it like able to learn? Like it would only hit itself once, and then you need to find a new way. Potentially, yeah. Like I could see that being a thing, right? Because it still has non-algorithmic computer intelligence. Like it could have multiple weaknesses, but they only work once each. And human of the Ffieidd-Dra. It's interesting. Like, do you? If you lose that chance, is it like, oh well, now we gotta make him hit his foot, or we have to make him do this, inflict this damage to him? It's interesting. I'll let you think about that for a second.
I'll think. It's one of the things where if I could put it in elegantly, then I would, and if I can't, then I won't. Okay, so we're all cool and happy with.
Oh, and the other thing is if you make them, because you're talking about making them like beyond tough. So the burn, all damage felt by other creatures. They suffer half damage. So it ends if you're able to make them. Oh, that's interesting. So are you saying, is this implication then that this kind of mental toughness is kind of a magical result also of their mental state, of that they are tough, and if they feel
I didn't think of that. It's funny. I was wondering that before we got on stream. This is like the last thing that I wrote about, and I was wondering that same thing. I was like, well, does it make sense that if their body is super tough, why does it matter if they've hit themselves to make them untough?
Because they're not physical creatures. They're like fey creatures. They're ethereal creatures. Yeah. And so they're kind of like Titan, like the primordial Titans that way. They represent an idea of toughness. Yeah. And savagery. Yeah. But if you affect that and make them feel weak, it's kind of like it.
I know. I really like that, Kurt. How do I include that? And I guess that would be in the lore section, right up here. Like I need to write that here.
Kind of. I mean, you can make it part of the ability too. Like, for example, like if you say like Cawr's, Cawr. Again, I'm just spitballing. Cawr are
that's what the stream's for.
Supernatural creatures that represent savagery and fortitude.
Mm-hmm. So this creature is resistant to all damage. I see what you can at.
Yeah. So blah blah. As long as they maintain that mental state, they are resistant to blah blah blah. That kind of thing. However, however, and then you explain it flavorfully. However, this effect ends for one round after becoming dazed and whatever, and mentally weakened or something. Their mental state exude that kind of thing. Yeah, that's where my head's at. You can sort of build it into.
I like that. Damn it, Kurt. Now I kind of want you to like do a pass on every ability and stat blocks them.
Well, again, we should just. Yeah. I mean, we should do that. Yeah. I think that's the thing that would help for us to just do together, because now it's midnight. And the pumpkin is the carriage is turning into a pumpkin. No, I like that idea though. Like, and I mean, I think it matters less for a lot of the monsters. It doesn't have to be every monster. You're right. But the Ffieidd-Dra are especially like these are like these are the dragons in our Dungeons and Dragons, so to speak. So they have to like really pop. Okay,
cool. In that case, then can we quickly brainstorm ideas, because I haven't done this yet. Ideas for the other three.
Sure.
So the Mukkelevi, all we know about this one is that it's something to do with sealing stones, right?
Something to do with what?
Sealing stones.
Oh, okay.
Because that's how the Ever Stranger wins, and it's all to do with it gets the Fairy Queen final fight as well.
Yeah. A thing that is obvious to me is because the Mukkelevi is so oriented towards like blood and flesh and viscera, that the opposite, the earth, the stone, and nature, whatever, is basically their weakness. So if you tie them to something that isn't viscera and flesh and so on, then they can lose their potency.
Okay.
Which is
They're also
Which is
spirit as well,
maybe-
right? They're gone, yeah. They have like an obsession with spirits and souls. They're gone.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe that's related to why they try to destroy the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
They try
Interesting.
on Avalon, they try to turn into a wasteland because that's where they're strongest. Like, if there's more, stone and petrification and things that they can get tied to, then that could be used against them, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Opposite of nature,
Right.
I guess.
Just a thought.
That is why they destroy the land. They are particularly vulnerable to natural binding tactics. They're used on
Like-
stones, something like that.
Like, for example, if a Ffieidd-Dra was caught in the mountains, let's say the Ffieidd-Dra had free reign of the Pendraig's mountainous regions, would it just like gradually ground it down into a flat wasteland over millennia?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of like he just wants fucking nothingness and to him to be the dominant force of corruption and degradation and so on. So anyway, that's a possibility. So I could see that being a thing where, yeah, rocks, or it could be tied to rocks, potentially like trees and whatnot, like living trees. Maybe
Yeah.
that's another thing.
Okay, let me write that down as well.
Or we could reserve that. Yeah.
Oh, I skipped one. I skipped the Draig. That's bad. Okay.
Was it?
We skipped the Draig.
No.
The Draig,
go back to the
I wrote down an idea already. Take out the wings, or they fly away, or fly with them. But that it's not really a weakness. That's just. But then maybe it's obvious. Maybe it's okay to be obvious for some of them. Like, just kill the dragon's wings.
Swords are their weakness.
Swords are their weakness. Yeah. I mean, in the story we have like the old inside the belly of the beast kind of thing. I don't know if we want to like encodify that, and we want everyone to kill it that way. But maybe, I don't know.
I mean, okay, like it relates to just how you came up with the Mukkelevi being, felled, but each of their weaknesses has to sort of relate to how the Ffieidd-Dra slew them, and
Everyone to.
the Everfather slew the Draig just by fucking riding doing the, like you said, it was the Moby Dick, the inner flesh.
Yeah, it was raw combat. He wore it down by being better than it at fighting, and then he slew it from the inside when it was time. Yeah. That's
Okay,
when he
so
ran out of
it's
fire,
only
wasn't it? Actually, that's the idea.
Was that?
Our idea was that when it ran out of fire, he could enter the belly of the beast.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, so he outfought it, and then he had more endurance than the dragon, basically.
okay. So its only weakness is inside its mouth.
When it can't breathe fire.
Sure. Okay. I mean, that's a hell of a weakness. But maybe it makes sense, like in the sense that it's basically a snake, where like it can swallow you whole, but yeah, you could just like cut it up from the side. Yeah.
So then, how do you stop it
That's
from
probably
breathing
fine
fire? I guess underwater is obviously one thing. I don't know how you get a dragon underwater. I guess that's the clipping the wings part, perhaps.
You could have a chemical or a compound or a magical elixir that counteracts fire breathing.
Right, that makes you immune to fire. Yeah.
Yeah. There's this old cartoon. Are you familiar with the cartoon Flight of the Dragons?
No. Maybe.
It's an old 80s cartoon about a board game geek who gets trapped in the world of dragons.
Okay.
But he's a science person, and the
Right.
dragons explain how their fire breath works.
Yeah.
You should watch this movie. This is homework
Is
for
it
you.
movie?
You should watch it. Yeah. I'm gonna fly to I'm just gonna find the stream and I'm just gonna send it to you, and you have to watch it at some point in the next month.
Okay.
I'll force my son to watch it because
Actually,
it was literally my favorite.
I can codify being tied to the mechanics. It's just like once
Was
you
that?
force it. I just talking to myself, like I realized, like I can say that it can't breathe fire once it's tied, and I can make tied a part of the mechanics. That's fine.
Sure. I mean, I guess it can come from somewhere, right? Like similarly, it's its.
But yeah, please send me that.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's the last one is the Ysgithyrwyn, and that one we kind of already know. Like, it's weird. It's like a harbinger of disease and rot, but it's somehow vulnerable to poisons.
Yeah, I guess so because it's hardy. It has a hardy constitution, so it can eat rot. It can eat all this stuff. But if it eats something that's specifically like toxic in a potent enough quantity, it doesn't kill it, but it won't kill it, but it'll put it to sleep. It's like a tranquilizer, right? Like a poison that would kill the average person or average creature would just like give it a pleasant nap.
Yeah, you're right actually, because in the Mother story, the poison doesn't kill it, right? It like
it doesn't kill it. It basically puts it to sleep.
Yeah.
But that gives and then the Ever Mother basically cuts out its heart.
Yeah. And then
also from the inside. Yeah.
Well, no,
basically all these.
The tribe does it, right? They cut her out. Basically.
Yeah.
And then
basically.
And against the Fairy Queen, the poison doesn't kill the boar either; it slows it down. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wasn't slowing down to fire. Yeah. Okay. In that case, then we're good then. So those are the vulnerabilities, and I'll write them into the stat blocks.
Yeah. I did have one comment about how we were talking about these the Ffieidd-Dra, and you were talking about making like the young Ffieidd-Dra.
Yeah.
The one that just fucks with me is, what does a young Mukkelevi look like? Is it just like
it has more flesh. It has more skin.
Oh, that's what it is. Oh, it's not like a.
Believe it or not, like I've already done this.
I know. I'm looking at the thing. I'm trying to find where the description is.
This is rare stuff. So this is in the art book, the Legends of Arden art book, which I think very few people own. And in it, let me go. In it is the original illustrations for the Ffieidd-Dra, which I made for the deck of playing cards. So they're not really like true big illustrations, like the other monsters are. So where are they? Find them. Although I love the Mukkelevi so much that I did get an illustration done for it. Where is the first one? Yeah, here it is. So we actually did get a Mukkelevi illustration done, which I love. It's awesome. But then there is this one here, and I said the Mukkelevi is such an awful creature that I almost felt guilty asking Jane, who's the artist for the cards, who has a far brighter and more colourful portfolio, to illustrate it, to convey a sense. So for these creatures, for the playing cards for the original game, I did like an aggressive and a subdued version for all the artwork. So, for example, the Fae had like a friendly version and like a menacing version, right? And the people, where's the good artwork of the people? Here we go. Like the Empresses here, they had like a civilized farming version and then a war version, right? And the gods had like a slumbering version and an awakened version. And then, but for the Ffieidd-Dra, I was like, well, I can't do a nice version and an evil version. They're always bad. So I decided to do a young version versus an old version.
Oh, right. Okay, I remember this now.
Yeah, and so then for the Mukkelevi, this answers your exact question. What does a young Mukkelevi look like? And the answer is to convey a sense of difference in age between the two sides, I simply gave one less flesh than the other. So
there you go.
It has more skin, that's all. So that suggests something, doesn't it, really? It suggests that it is, at some point, it is kind of looks somewhat normal. That is one thing we haven't done in this book, is we haven't explained how the Mukkelevi are formed or where they come from. And I think it's one of those things that I don't want to do that, because it takes the mystery away. I think it's better not to know. I
mean, we have like weird fleshy landscapes. So we could kind of imply it's kind of like a like Zerg right? Like remember that like StarCraft?
Oh right, like it just comes out of like the viscera. Like
like it corrupts the land. Yeah, and it gets burned. That's like one of my favorite parts about StarCraft is like the Zerg coming from weird fucking creep. The creep. That's what it was called. Yeah, I love that lore. That's good shit.
Right, yeah. Because it's late for you.
Yeah, and I have to get up pretty early tomorrow, which sucks. But it's my last week of having to get up that early, so that's good. Yeah. But I was Kurt. This was Darren. Thanks for joining us. Next week, you'll bear witness to maybe more of this. Maybe going through the Bestiary is probably.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Next week, the Bestiary will be done.
Oh, okay. I thought
if it's not done by then, something's gone wrong for me.
Oh, I thought you were talking about going through flavor. Well, we'll see.
We'll see
maybe,
how far you're right. I mean, that's like sprinkles on top.
Yeah,
we could do that. You're right. We could do that. The other thing that needs to be done is the fairy tricks as well. But I think we could do that off stream as well. So I'm not sure what we're doing next week, because we're like just to cover things on. We're coming to the end of the book now. Like now we're just like this is the last big section, is the Bestiary, and I've done 75% of it now. And so once it's done, it's really just filling out the corners. Like, to be completely transparent, what's missing from the book is the introduction, the lore introduction, the Game Master's Guide lore introduction, the Otherworld lore introduction, and so those are like just a few paragraphs of text introducing those sections to the reader in the book. Your lore for the legendary items, and the fairy tricks, and that's it. So it's just a few instructions and some lore and this Bestiary, which I'm really finishing. Next week I'm going to be doing all of the D&D stats.
Do you think we're landing in the page count that we promised, or are we above it?
Yes, I think we are. I'm a bit concerned about the Bestiary. I've actually been quite happy. Like the current length is like 150 pages, and that's including space for all those sections I just mentioned. What's missing is legendary artifacts and the Bestiary, but I don't think they're going to take up that much room. I can't imagine how they take up 100 pages, and if they do, well then we're still within the count of 250 pages that I wanted. Oh, I lied. Sorry, I forgot. Haven't finished the secret section for the Pendraig and the Everfather's lore chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big thing. But I want to do that on Monday and Tuesday. I think I'm going to do that then.
Okay.
And we'll see what you're up to as well. So yeah, that's where it is. The book's coming to a close. It's finishing. Yeah, it's awesome.
Wonderful. All right, bro. Let's keep at it. Yeah. Let's get it done so you guys can have it in your hands.
Yes, please. And my hands. I want it in my hands. All right.
In your hands too.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Oh wait, I have to end the stream. I ended Kurt. Bye. Thanks, Sylvia. See you this week. And you, Kwasi. Thanks for coming by. Take care now.